I just can't bring myself to finish this game. I have played this game for about 26 hours by now, and I'm too tired of playing it anymore. The story of Gotham Knights would have probably been all I needed to get through it, but the gameplay and the combat methods along with the other features are what tipped the scales in killing my enjoyment. Getting to play as Nightwing, Robin, Red Hood and Batgirl was fun initially, but as the game progressed, balancing the loot system with the leveling system, where the enemy types getting stronger than them, was where the frustration hit the hardest. Because eventually, I ended up going up against such stronger and durable enemy types that when fighting against them, those same enemies, it ended up lasting so long that it felt like they were trying to bore me to death. And now let's talk about the story campaign. The story kicks itself off with Batman having a final confrontation with his father-in-law, aka Ra's al Ghul in the Batcave. They both end up dying in there after Bruce Wayne is mortally wounded, seals the Batcave, and lets it explode with them both inside. This causes the Wayne Manor on top of it to collapse, and so Bruce Wayne is seen to have died by the rest of the world, as him having been in there when it happened. We are also shown his corpse when Nightwing, Robin, Red Hood and Batgirl arrive at the scene, and Bruce Wayne is then shown publicly buried to make his death official. The proper gameplay then starts by making you choose which one of the surviving Bat family members you play as. I went through the tutorial with Nightwing, where he investigated Kirk Langström's death and fought some anarchists before being sent to the GCPD to learn how the stealth is supposed to work. There he runs into Batman's ex-wife, according to Ra's al Ghul's law, aka Talia, who cremates her father's corpse and flees while the corrupted police officers come after Nightwing. After that, you can switch back and forth between the characters as you need to interrogate criminals around Gotham, before you know where to go to catch up with Talia, and after that learn that Harley Quinn has some information to give out from her cell in Blackgate. I went there as Red Hood because I figured they would have something in common as both of them had been the Joker's former victims, but they didn't really have any special dialogue to reflect on that. And while fighting these Mafia godmothers and shield-carrying tank goons, the fighting began to feel too choreful, especially when this game never incorporated the countering mechanic from the Arkham games. As a matter of fact, it was possible to play as all of these characters in Arkham Knight, and just like with Arkham Origins, WB Montreal should have incorporated the combat system from there to this game to build up on it. Maybe then there would have been a damn counter mechanic! Speaking of the combat mechanics, W Montreal decided to build it from the ground up instead of building up from the Arkham games, and that substitute was not an improvement. Instead of the fluid X square for punching, AX for jumping, B circle for stun, and Y triangle for countering done with a regular controller in the Arkham games, it's tap X/square for light punches and push down for heavy punches, AX to do jack shit, B circle to jump away to dodge, and Y triangle for range attacks. And from that I have to ask, why doesn't the AX button do anything in combat? Also, because of this game's leveling system, the enemies become more and more durable as you level up in it. Especially these two yellow-marked health bar enemies that did not even seem to acknowledge any of the damage I was trying to give to them as Batgirl. And eventually, fighting against these damage sponges that can take everything you throw at them becomes boring. Even when playing as Red Hood, who can use guns, and he cannot end the fights by simply shooting everyone to the knees to make them unable to stand up and fight. And even the loot and craft system eventually stopped making sense when you're trying to read the power numbers on your suits, melee weapons and throwables. How is it possible for the higher tier leveled equipment to have a higher power level and a lower damage level at the same time as weaker equipment are the exact opposite? Even the level up abilities become confusing to comprehend in which one of these was I supposed to focus on, and if they even made a damn difference. And then there were the knighthood challenges that needed to be finished separately with each character in order to unlock a gliding drone for Nightwing, a paragliding cape for Batgirl, jumping in the air for Red Hood, and Robin to unlock the usage of the Justice League teleporter, which could only be used in the air during traversal. Before unlocking those, the traversal was just running and jumping around with the grapple gun, but that wasn't as fun as in the 2018 Spider-Man game. And then there was also the driving around with the Bat-cycle, because the Batmobile was probably destroyed in the game's opening, and even that felt like I was playing through a loading screen. Okay, and now back to the story campaign. As I asked for it in my Arkham Origins review, this game did end up having a day and night cycle. Every time you went out as a different character, it was a different night, and when you hung out in the clock tower base, it was daytime. As the month during which the game progressed, I went to talk to the Penguin, who is voiced by the same guy as Adam Jensen from Deus Ex. After some padded fetch quests in trying to get him to work with the Bat family, the Penguin led them to learning that the Court of Owls is real, and while infiltrating one of their front businesses, I actually got some other player to come help me get through it faster. D. Gusane, if you see this video, thank you. I would like to say that the Court of Owls was adapted pretty well from Scott Snyder's New 52 Batman run, especially with the labyrinth I ended up getting trapped into as Batgirl. Except that the leader, known as the Voice of the Court, is revealed to be Jacob Kane, better known as the brother of Martha, uncle of Bruce, and father of Kate Kane aka Batwoman. If you ask me, it would have made more sense to have it be Bruce's other uncle Philip from Scott Snyder's Zero Year storyline, because he was mixed with the Red Hood gang there, so making it only natural for him to be mixed up with the Court of Owls. Besides the Court of Owls, this game also has Mr. Freeze and Clayface as side quest villains, along with Harley Quinn, who is shown to work better as a villain, rather than as a wannabe hero that everyone just tolerates to allow her to hang out alongside them. I managed to deal with Mr. Freeze and Harley with some struggle, but Clayface was too much, and the strategy to deal with him also made Dark Souls look too easy in comparison. Especially when Dark Souls has parrying to help stun you the bosses you're fighting against, and blocking to sometimes prevent you ending up in the enemy attack animation that ends up eating away a majority of your health. And then there were the man-bat enemy types who were such struggles to deal with that they ended up being the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Especially when you need to fight them 3 times, while the League of Assassins / Shadows comes to make it even harder to chip away those man-bats' health. I have not played Gotham Knights past the man-bat mission, and I have no will to play any more of it. Also, there is one me problem here besides just not enjoying the combat and gameplay when it came to the PC requirements supporting the game's performance. I would definitely need to get myself a stronger graphics card because I had to lower the visual settings to be able to play this game. Also, the PS5 that I have pre-ordered for myself won't be delivered to me until July next year. But I don't know what changes there would be in going from 60 FPS on PC to 30 FPS on PlayStation 5. Anyway, it breaks my heart to give Gotham Knights such a negative review like this, because I was really excited to get to play as the Bat family members, and the story itself could have been the saving grace of it. But unfortunately, the gameplay and combat, especially the lack of being able to counter the enemy attacks, are where the game stumbled, and I eventually ended up falling out of love with it. I'm sorry. If you had a better experience in playing the game than I did, write about it down in the comment section. Subscribe for videos in which I will hopefully be happier than this. And ding the bell for gameplay streams. May your heart be your guiding key.